So, the debate of which propeller do you use continues. I am back on.
So hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel and the flight briefing room. This video today is going to be talking about the propellers, and for myself I've wanted to understand what propeller is going to give me the best all-round performance on my aircraft. Now, a lot of people that will be watching this are also paramotorists. They're going to want to understand which propeller works for them. The thing to bear in mind is my aircraft flies at a slightly higher airspeed, so will naturally need a higher RPM to maintain level flight. But hopefully a lot of the figures should transpose across, and I've tried to do this as analytically as possible. I've made sure the aircraft was the same weight with the same amount of fuel each time, roughly within 3 to 5 degrees of the air temperature, and I've tried to do it at the same point in the flight. Now also within the 4 videos, I've made 4 little segment videos for this. I've left a little bit of section without any voiceover, and that will give you the sound of the propeller in the air. One of the propellers is extremely loud, sounds like a bag of angry wasps at the back, so I'll let you find out which one that was. Additionally, on top of that, I put a community post out last week just to find out what people thought the best propeller was going to be, and I think this video is going to give some very interesting results that you may not be expecting. The 4 propellers that I'll be using is the Helix 3-blade 1.3 meter, the Helix 2-blade 1.4 meter, the eProp 3-blade 1.3 meter, and the standard propeller that comes with the Moster Silent, again it's the Moster Silent with a 2.87 reduction, is the Helix 2-blade 1.3 meter. So those are the 4 propellers I'm using. The 3 tests that I wanted to apply was a hands-off climb, so I go to full power and find out what the average climb rate. There are peaks and troughs, and I've got an averager on my my system that's on the aircraft, so the figures that I'll provide at the end once you've watched the videos are all an average climb rate, not a peak climb rate. So that was a hands-off climb, so letting it go and not making it go as slow as possible. And then I wanted to find out what the RPM was for straight and level flight. So that RPM effectively correlates to fuel burn, so the higher the RPM, the more fuel it's going to use to fly at that set airspeed. Bear in mind again, it's a hands-off trim, so it's a hands-off climb and a hands-off trim, so they're all exactly the same with the same fuel load, the same weight. Those are the tests I was going to do. The 2 sort of, I want to call maybe subjective tests were how smooth it was in flight, how smooth the propeller felt, and also the noise. So again, I go back to the videos, I've left the noise section in there on takeoff so you can hear how noisy it was, or how they compare. So anyway, let's leave the flight briefing room, jump into those 4 videos, and we'll come back here and talk about the figures, which I'll put on the screen and we'll discuss them afterwards.
Okay, good morning everyone. It's another flight, and what I'm trying to do is the first flight of the 4 propellers that I want to test. At the moment I've got the Helix 3-blade 1.3 meter for the 2.87 reduction on the back, and for me, for me it's just going to be a flight, and I'm going to run through the same tests in exactly the same configuration on all 4 propellers, so that I can then post some data and come back to you. So hopefully that'll be one condensed video, but it'll jump around showing you all the different aspects of the propellers. So anyway, let's get on with the checks. Full power bar in. Going forward on the bar. Funny away. I might notice that this video looks distinctly like the same flight as my first back to flight. I didn't see much point in doing a separate flight for this one, and I just wanted to find out what was going on. And again, scratch my nose. At the moment on this propeller, it's looking like about 5,700 for straight and level. and that's hands off. And I'm doing about 41, 42 miles an hour on the ASI. Yeah, definitely 5,700 for the level. And so I'm going to do a hands off full power or trim climb to see what feet per minute I can get. Okay, centered, bar neutral, everything's good. Let's take off. Right, I think I'm still in rough air at the minute, so I'm going to try the full power climb to see what actually happens. Right, well that was the climb, and I was a bit perplexed by that because I should have got a better climb rate than I actually was. However, it was around just under 600 feet per minute average, and I just realised I've got an averager dot on this. So the climb rate with the 140 is almost the same as the 133 blade, which again I just need to take these figures away, plot them and have a look, because I don't want to take any one figure in isolation, because otherwise that's just going to confuse things a little bit. But at the moment the cruise RPM is ever so slightly higher. By about less, just under 100. Glebe Farm, traffic from Golf Foxtrot Whiskey Lima Romeo, departing runway 13 to the south, Glebe Farm. Bar in, speed bar coming forward, away, bar in. Backing off because the RPM, the cylinder head temperature is getting near 200. So, but my average was over 600 feet a minute on that climb out. Right, turning the radio volume down, don't need it, I'm out of circuit. So, as I was saying, yeah, so the propeller that I'm using at the moment for this test is an E-Prop 1.3 3-blade. For the 287 reduction. I don't know if the microphones and that will pick it all up, but it's certainly a raspier sound than the other two propellers or three propellers I've been using. It's a lot easier with this hand throttle to actually understand what's going on with the engine, because trying to hold something very precise with the foot throttle is a lot harder than you think. The one thing I have noticed about the 3-blade props over the two is they are a lot smoother in constant RPM. And this engine feels a lot better with the original 130 2-blade on it. So, the debate of which propeller do you use continues. I am back on the original prop, the 130 for the 287 reduction.
For some reason I didn't verbalise the figures in this flight, but actually I did note them down. So the average climb rate for this flight, and so I did check the data afterwards and it matched, was 600 feet a minute, and to maintain level flight it was 5,600 RPM. So we'll leave this video here and jump straight back to the flight briefing room. Right, so hopefully those videos will give you a little bit of a flavour. Apologies for some of the videos, I didn't speak with the figures, but I had actually noted them down, so I will have put them and overlaid them as text on the screen for you. So, the first propeller on the video sequence was the Helix 3-blade 1.3 metre. Its average climb rate was 600 feet per minute. Again, hands off. So that's going to be our benchmark. That's propeller number 1 in the sequence. And the cruise RPM, so maintaining, again, hands off, cruise speed was 5,700 RPM. That's the Helix 3-blade 1.3. The Helix 2-blade 1.4 came out at 615 feet per minute. Should have been more. I was really expecting that propeller to provide more climb thrust, but it didn't. And again, the thing that did shock me most was it needed 6,100 RPM to maintain level flight. Moving on to the third propeller, and this is where the community post really amused me. I think the last time I looked, it was about 69 or 59% of people thought the E-prop was going to be the best all-round propeller. So the 3-blade 1.3 only provided an additional 15 feet per minute on average, so 630 feet per minute, and it needed more RPM to maintain level flight. Moving on to the last propeller was the Helix 2-blade 1.3 metre, the standard propeller that comes with the engine, and it only provided 600 feet per minute. I say only, it's the same as the 3-blade 1.3 Helix. And the benefit is it needed 100 RPM less in the cruise. So overall, the standard propeller that actually comes with it, that Flylight issue, the 3-blade 1.3 metre, so correction, the 2-blade 1.3 metre propeller is the overall best propeller. Now, again, subjective. The 3-bladed propellers were both the smoothest. They were ever so slightly smoother, but I put that down to the greater mass that's actually spinning. But of the two 3-blades, the noisiest propeller, and that's because you've got an extra blade smashing the air, is the E-prop. And as I said in the video, it sounded like a bag of angry wasps. So again, I don't think I'll ever be using that E-prop 3-blade ever again. So hopefully this video has given you some information to go away with. Again, two elements are fairly subjective, but the data I've collected for these in terms of climb rate and cruise RPM should hopefully provide you with some information for your style of flying. Anyway, we'll leave this video here. Hopefully more content of flying to other airfields. And until next time, everybody, fly safe.